Good evening. You are with the Urban Debate with us. Appreciate you being with us this evening. I'm Seher Zama. We are making a start and keeping the focus here on the rise in COVID-19 cases, but specifically with respect to clusters that have been reported in schools now. But first, getting you what the central government has done. It has rushed yet another set of teams from the Health Ministry, both to the states of Maharashtra and Punjab, noticing a surge in those states there. But let's tell you more about the school clusters here, which has been reported, in fact, across different states here. This is coming in of 22 students testing positive across two separate government schools in Karnataka. Karnal has reported a huge number. 54 students have tested positive in Karnal in Haryana. Remember, this is a city which has reported about 70 plus new positive cases, out of which a large chunk of it is coming in from school students, 54. It's not just that, there are other cities that have reported this case, a high number as well. Vashim, in fact, which is in Maharashtra, is reporting a huge number, which is 229 school students testing positive. So our concern here being on what the state governments should be doing as far as this plan of opening up and bringing back normalcy here and also helping students not to waste another academic year. What is the fallout of this? This is specifically with respect to government schools which aren't necessarily equipped here to maintain COVID norms. Teachers that are traveling using public transport, students that are traveling as well using public transport here are exposed to the virus a lot more than they would have otherwise taking online classes. But online classes or the access to digital technology hasn't always been seen with government school students. Several have had to drop out as well. So what really is the solution? Is this an opening up at the right time? And if not, how the governments should do a rethink on this. We're going to take all of this into account here, keeping the focus of clusters in schools today. But before that, let's take a listen in to this exclusive reaction now that's coming in from the Karnataka State Education Minister. Our correspondent Neha has spoken to him. This is with respect to the rise in cases in Karnataka and more specifically what they should be doing about schools reopening at this time.
The important measures that we decided to take is to ensure the stricter surveillance in the border districts. In about 7 districts, we need to have a very high surveillance. Secondly, we want to trace as many as 20 people for every infected person. And BBMP, that is Bangalore metropolitan area, will be treated separately as one state.
Okay.
Because of its population and so much of density is here, and there is upsurge also in Bangalore city that we are seeing. So here also we have identified about 12 clusters now. Each cluster will be monitored very well. Inoculation also will be very high from Monday itself, because we are increasing from 300 sites to almost 3,500 sites from Monday itself. So we want to ensure that people will have a easy access, easy area wherever they are. The inoculation sites will be available to them. So that we want to quickly ramp up the vaccination process, so that automatically we'll be combating the virus, and we can completely eliminate this COVID.
Well, he's talking about ramping up the vaccination drive in the state of Karnataka here. But that's also the other aspect. There has been a demand to include teachers now as well into frontline workers here so that they can be vaccinated and can in fact ensure a smooth operation in schools here as well. Let's discuss this with our panelists, our experts with us tonight. We have a parent's voice, a parent's representative, Ms. Anubha Sahai with us. Good evening. Advocate and president of the India-wide Parents Association. We have Dr. Shashank Joshi. He's the Dean of the Indian College of Physicians in Leelavati Hospital there, but also a very important member of the COVID-19 task force. and Mr. Anand Gurumurthy, spokesperson of the BJP, here with us. Appreciate all voice with us here tonight. I'm starting with Anubha Sahai here on this. Anubha, what's your view? Is this the right time to open up? Because it's also a question of getting students back on the academic year. Not all have had access to online classes. Several have unfortunately dropped out as well. But today, noticing this surge, noticing these clusters in school, is it the right time?
We have been protesting since last 2-3 months. All the associations across India, different state parent association and Pan India parent association also, we have been telling government also that this is not the right time to rush, because see, the academic year will start by June in most of the schools, by mid of June, or in some schools by April. So why cannot we just postpone for a month or two and just wait till the cases, till the vaccine is like students and children. Till now, we don't have any vaccine for these small children. You will vaccinate teachers, no doubt, that is a good thing. We are vaccinating all the elderly people. But what about children? And we are seeing the rise in cases in most of the schools. There is a COVID blast in most of the schools. And the moment the schools will reopen, just see in Punjab, the government has reopened schools for small children from nursery to 12th. They have reopened the school. How can they be so irresponsible? We know that the children are very vulnerable, and even our Prime Minister and Health Ministry is saying that children below 10 years should be kept inside home. Then why are we reopening these schools to infect these small children? This is not the right time. Why are we rushing? There are other ways to impart education, and what the government has been doing since past 1 year. Why they have not provided education to all the students across India? The state governments also, they should have come up with some alternate plan, some alternate mode of education, maybe it through online mode or through other modes. They could have imparted education, which they have not done. They should have worked on this front to impart education to these students, because we know COVID cases are rising.
Right.
We must take example from other countries, see what is happening in other countries, but they have online access to all they have given online access.
Okay, so there should have been other measures here taken regarding education, but let's get in a voice. Anand Gurumurthy of the BJP here. In your view, what else could have the government done at this point of time? Agreed that the schools are opening up after a year, but things aren't looking too well even after a year. While numbers have come down, we know that social distancing, maintaining COVID norms is a huge challenge with small children. Not all schools are equipped to do this. Why rush through this process?
So first of all, to start with, I would just say, see, it's not just, the government wants to do it this way and it is doing. It has done this based consulting people. It has an experts panel at all levels, not only at the national level, at all state levels, and even at district levels. There are panels, expert panels, which feed in the information. There is a task force which continuously meets from past 1 year on a daily basis. Okay, and at whatever level it is needed, the meetings takes place. So based on these, things are taken forward by the government. It's not that it's a political decision or some kind of a decision. And to add to it, we are also parents. We also have children. It's not that we are taking decisions based on emotions, but based on whatever the experts panel suggests. So based on the task force decisions, we are going ahead. The government goes ahead. So apart from this, if you see, our representative of the Parents Association has raised some very, very valid points which need answers. So why didn't the government do something with respect to imparting education in some other means? Yes, it was done through the UGC programs. It was run through TV. With whatever possible, Vidya Agamana, which was done in Karnataka, it was done. Teachers went to students' places and did. It was a lot of programs have taken place. Private schools have taken up online education at a more faster pace. Government schools, the government teachers and Anganwadi teachers have done a lot of work.
Private schools, of course, much more equipped to do this, but it is at government and district level schools where massive dropouts have taken place here. And we're opening up now here to rescue their lost academic year, but it's also at the risk of catching infection. Let me get in a voice here, a neutral voice, COVID task force member, and this is Dr. Joshi. He's going to help us understand in ascertaining what is the right time. Should this be a decision that needs to be revisited? Even if we talk about Maharashtra right now, in Vasim, which was a huge cluster, 229 students reported positive there.
course, I completely agree with you that we need to be very careful and mindful, and we need to have innovative methods of teaching across, particularly the government and public sector, like doing Shanti Niketan type of schools which are there.
Yes.
The Honorable PM in this Mann Ki Baat himself has used radio as a very powerful tool. Doordarshan can be used as a very powerful tool. Because remember that people are not having access, and you can have a single classroom in a given geography for a given language. So if Maharashtra uses Doordarshan effectively, the radio stations effectively, see everywhere it may not be possible for in the rural areas to have access to digital technology and 24/7 internet. Sometimes we have internet challenges even when we talk on these
Absolutely.
programs. So I think this is something which we need to be innovative, and we can do open air schools because
Yes.
the main spread of transmission is occurring fundamentally because we are in closed clusters. And if we are able to do Shanti Niketan type education, which is also innovative, which has been time tested for more than 100 years, we can look at innovative educational techniques. Until those are not in place, we need to be cautious and careful. So that's something which is there. Also, it is important that online education has its own side effects because children are all the time only in front of a computer screen. They also need to go out. They also need to play. They also need to encourage sports. So we have a lot of opportunities here, but the virus comes first. And remember, children fortunately have a better immunity than adults, and they don't get severe disease, but they become potential spreaders. And because they are in close clusters, and we are not able to, we can't, make the changes of behavior in our adults. So to expect that from our children is completely crazy. In fact, I feel sometimes our children are much better behaved
Right.
than our adult population. So I think we need to have innovative techniques of education. And till that time, I completely agree with both the panelists that we need to
Right.
be careful and mindful. But however, current clusters are very heterogeneous, and geography to geography they differ. And we need to make the population specific geographies. We need to do geo mapping and then do education in that area with the help of the collector of that area or the district administration authorities, and take corrective measures immediately.
Okay. Right. Anubha Sahai, you've been saying that there have been various parents associations, parent reps, parents organizations here who've been protesting against them, who've been asking the government to not rush into this here. What would you suggest right now? Because the government's voice here with our spokesperson of the BJP here saying that the government has taken into account all the ifs and buts, all the voices, all stakeholders before moving ahead here on this.
See, my suggestion and as well as the suggestion from other association would be that they should adopt some other measures. Maybe they can rope in many NGOs from across India, like they are doing for distribution of foods across India. They have had tie up with many NGOs for food distribution, meal that is the midday meal. So why cannot they have tie up with some NGOs, some organizations, some parent associations, and many social workers at district level, taluka level, at village level also to impart education through various other means, not only online. Because I am in touch with many teachers in Maharashtra, and you will not believe the teachers are connected with these are YouTube teachers. Mr. Dinesh Sharma and his team, they are connected with many students from across Maharashtra. Lakhs of children are connected with these teachers, and they have conducted a survey today. You will not believe more than 1.5 lakh students have responded to that survey, and 83 to 85% students are not okay with the offline exams and schools which are reopening. This is about Maharashtra. I am getting many students from West Bengal, even Chhattisgarh, South, from across India are approaching us, and they are saying we don't want to risk our life. Our parents are at risk. We don't want to go to school right now, and we don't want to give offline exams. They are requesting for online exams or also for other modes of assessment. See, as
Okay.
far as the education policy is concerned, next year
All
the
right, so
assessment.
these are some interesting details of this survey that you're referring to here. Mr. Anand Gurumurthy, the larger sense here being that because the government didn't do much for a year in providing alternate tools of education, which is why it has become so important to open up, to not have another academic year wasted. But in the previous 1 year, we should have had innovative methods working on ground, which doesn't make it such an urgency of reopening right now.
The innovative methods were taken up, just like how the Maharashtra representative mentioned. especially through UGC and other programs, a lot of education impartment happen. But the problem is that when there's no physical connect between the teacher and student, there are certain things which need to be done, because some students cannot cope up with just online education, or watching TV and listening to something. Some students can cope up with that, many can't. So such students will have to visit the school, sit with their teacher, understand certain things, especially in certain subjects they need more attention, some of the students. So in Karnataka, it all started with that. A call was taken about how many students can come, what is the physical distance that has to be maintained. This was all suggested by experts panel, and as the other panelists told, it was also held in open air environment, and all this was done. So innovative ways have been applied by the government, and it's been 1 year, okay, and people are aware. Not just the government officials, even the people, the population is aware about this. The children are also aware of it, and it has been taken in smaller steps. See, we had lockdowns, we had then unlock in many phases, and then slowly and steadily things have started, and it's been a year. So it is something which we have to take forward in slow and steady way. I agree to the concern of the parents association, and I, as a concerned parent, even I am worried, but at the same time, we have to trust the experts panel. We have to trust the vaccination program that is going on, and we have to go ahead by taking smaller steps. And wherever, let me assure you, wherever there is any small problem, okay, government will put its foot down and take care of that cluster, manage it well, and take it forward. We are
But
equally
yes,
concerned about
government is putting its foot down after clusters are reported. After the damage is already done, clusters are reported and schools are back to being shut down here. Dr. Joshi, we would like to look at more preventive measures here that can work on ground. One suggestion, of course, is here to include teachers as frontline workers. Why haven't they been included in this category? Opening up vaccination to them here as well, if schools are opening up. Whether that can work as a positive measure in protecting children, instead of having everything reopen and then shut down back again. There's so many schools that have shut down because of the clusters reported.
I think there is no question asked that teachers should be included, particularly in public schools, as a part of the vaccination program. In fact, India's vaccination program has a large expanse. What they did right now is a very mindful exercise of taking the most vulnerable group who are directly in frontline with COVID care contact or people who are likely to die. They were taken first. And in the next phase, we'll also hear that very soon. I'm certain that many categories like MAs, teachers who are directly also accessing and have a potential risk to contract COVID will be taken, and eventually a larger vaccination program will be in place. But right now, the priority of the government in a very mindful and a systematic way is to save lives and reduce the main impact of COVID in the most vulnerable group. That is what they are focused on. Of course, this should be done. No question asked. If we had the resources, if we had the vaccines, we have the ability to do that. So I don't disagree with that. Second problem is with school children, it's a very tricky issue. It has occurred across the world that you see they tend to cluster and appropriate behavior is difficult to follow. And therefore there are a lot of spreader and super spreader events which can occur. Right. It is sometimes the children who then pick up the virus, take it home and infect their grandparents who are at risk. And usually they are already vaccinated. So it's important to recognize it from that perspective also. So first we are vaccinating the grandparents, then the parents, then the vulnerable groups, and obviously teachers need to be vaccinated. So I don't disagree with what you're saying. But having said that, I think the national government in the center has been calibrating it and rationing it out currently to the most vulnerable group, looking at the priorities, save lives first. And after save lives first policy is done and the geographies and the population is covered, then they will definitely go to this policy as well. And till such time, in some geographies, we may have to restrict the schooling patterns.
All right.
We have a very robust education system.
Anubha Sahai, what in your view is that immediate action that needs to be taken to let summer pass, to have schools open up instead in summer vacations instead of pressing for this March deadline that we are seeing in certain cities, in certain states?
And see, I don't think that this is the right time to open school. We can still wait for a month or two once the vaccination is done and once the teachers and all are vaccinated. Because we don't have vaccine, still date, we don't have any vaccine for children who are below 16 years. So it is very difficult actually, because most of the parents, I don't think whether they will be vaccinated in another 6 months or time or not. But as of now, school should not be reopened, because parents are not willing to send their children, and we can see what is happening, which we have been predicting. We have been telling the government also, the moment you will open the school, they will shut down immediately, because there will be a COVID blast in most of the schools, because students are very small. They are very small children, they mingle with
Right.
each other. The school open, they don't follow social distancing norms, and we cannot force them also. They cannot even wear masks for so many hours. So right now it is our responsibility, government's responsibility also, to protect the children, students, and let them be at home, because they are safe right now. Students are safe at home. So why should we take a risk, and again we'll have to rush to all the medical infrastructure. We don't have proper medical infrastructure also. So again, if any children will be COVID positive, if any kind of
Okay. Right.
this will happen to them, then again they'll have to rush to hospitals, and we'll have to treat small children and students. So why
Right.
we should
Anand
force to.
Gurmurthy, the larger concern here is in district schools, in government-run schools, in municipality-run schools here, because private schools are managing with upgrading infrastructure. Private schools are managing with their own internal surveys here, in ascertaining that there be just 20% attendance to begin with, in ascertaining that this becomes a voluntary action of schools, of students wanting to go to school, because a lot of them already have access to online education. What really are the measures being taken in government schools? It's opening up, but what are these protective measures?
See, physical distancing and keeping hands clean, these are the measures that they take. And in some of the schools, the midday meal service, is being phased in. It's not, on the day one, they start the midday meal service. So this way, they are taking all kinds of measures that the experts panel say. But I want to just point out certain things, okay? Because a lot of apprehensions are being thrown and a lot of allegations are being thrown also by the representative of Parents Association. It is incorrect to say that medical services are not in place. 1 year ago, the world over, people were not understanding this disease. But today, things are in place. So that kind of apprehension is not needed. Okay, it is something which the association members and people leading this effort must understand. Okay, then the second thing, preventive measures, as I've already explained, and it has been explained a number of times, everybody understands at every level. Then the third thing, even we are equally concerned, but at the same time, education of students, especially at the rural level, if you see, if there's a school, village, if there are 3 or 4 villages, one gram panchayati will have one school. And at that point, the children mix on a daily basis in the village. They play on the streets. They are there always. Okay. And now they are coming to school. And as the experts panel have pointed out, they are having, schools on in the outside area, in the playgrounds and other places, so that, I think measures are being taken, and the teachers are also being careful. They are, ensuring that they are maintaining the physical distance. But all this has to be understood. If the village itself is a cluster, then those schools are closed down, and people are made to sit at homes. But that's not happening
No,
in
but
that way.
Mr.
If there's
Anand
no COVID
Gurumurthy,
case, then
this is where there's a huge difference in the understanding. It's not the village which is becoming a cluster because of because of others who've tested positive. These are places that are becoming clusters because it has begun with school students testing positive, being primary carriers, and then it is being spread across to the places where they live in. And that is the concern here to raise, that a lot of COVID appropriate measures which you're stating that are being followed in school, unfortunately it's not reflecting on ground, which is why we are having clusters now reported only from school areas, only from school hostels, only from where students have now started going to school. And the urgency being that a lot of them have already missed out 1 year of their academics here, for which the government should have also done more once again in that past 1 year. We appreciate all the voices here who've spoken to us. I'm afraid we've entirely run out of time here, but this is for all of us to be mindful of once we're opening up here, to also be aware what your school, what your child's school is doing on ground here to maintain that protection, that safety in the environment. Appreciate you being with us.